beer tubers, welcome back to Maxwell Starr's beer review. Tonight we're going to take a look at Leffe Blonde. Leffe Blonde is named after a Belgian abbey located in, I think, Dinant, Belgium. An abbey that originally opened up in, I believe, 1152. They were famous throughout the ages as being a brewery. Actually says 1240, maybe that's when they founded the brewery on the bottle itself. This particular beer, the brewery itself was damaged and destroyed numerous times over the centuries. The most recent iteration of this particular brewery was brought back up in 1952. And they've been brewing beer ever since, sorta. Eventually the beer, this particular beer brewery was bought out by what's now InBev. And that brewery now produces it in their standard breweries, and it's not brewed on site in the Notre Dame de Leffe Abbey in Dinant. So that said, it's still brewed in tradition with the name, and it still has the licensing for the name of the abbey, so they still can call it Leffe. It's just it's similar to Trappist ales, but it's not quite. I think this is classified as a strong Belgian pale ale. Comes in at 6.6% ABV. But it can't show any kind of authentic Trappist logo or anything because it's actually not brewed by the Abbey. It's basically the Abbey in name only, basically. I imagine they probably get part of the proceeds, but who knows? I think there's a part of the licensing deal. So, this is the authentic Belgian Abbey beer. Enjoy this delicious Leffe Blonde with its well-rounded, full-bodied taste. Well, let's see about that. Grab my UV here and pop the cap off. Now it's got like a gold foil covered cap. I'm not sure if there's anything underneath it. In fact, I'm not going to peel that away. I want to leave that alone so that I can add it to my cap collection just like that. So, I get to try out my new Leffe glass. I just picked this up at a Value Village last night, and it's 33 CL. This bottle, of course, being 33 CLs as well. So, let's give this beautiful thing a pour. Wow, that filled up the glass pretty well. Got a really nice, dense two-finger head at the top of that thing. A nice golden blonde color, or perhaps a little brassy. The head's a little on the bright white side. Yeah, there's a hint of yellow to it, but it's mainly, for the most part, a bright white with large bubbles. And I'm not sure, but I think I detect a slight amount of skunk, but this is very much like a lighter bottle, lighter color of brown than some of the other bottles that you would find a regular bottle of beer in. That does not mean the beer is actually gone skunky. It's just that if it's got a clear bottle, most of the time there's like maybe a little bit at the top that might have been a little on the skunky side, and the rest of the beer is fine. It's just whatever's exposed to light the most. I've had this in my fridge for a couple weeks now. It doesn't mean the beer is going to be bad or skunky at all. It just might be just a sufficient amount to get that aroma off. And well, let's hope for the best. So I'll give it a sniff. Now, like I said, there's an amount of like a slightly skunky aroma, but it's not quite on the skunky so much as it's like this herbal kind of European lager style kind of scent, like a noble hop would have. It's kind of like an herbal kind of almost piney kind of smell, hop smell. It smells like there's some traces of alcohol and some sweet pale malts, but that's about it. And maybe a tiny amount of clove and coriander. And they're buried within that same kind of scent. Maybe a slight amount of fruitiness as well. See, now that the head's dying down, it's actually becoming a little bit more on the creamier side. Now the bubbles, like the bubbles before, were these larger bubbles around the edges, and now it's actually got a cream appearance. It's weird that it just sort of changed like that. Yeah, I'm starting to get a more of a fruity aroma coming from that too, like hints of lemon and a little bit more spice and a predominant like red fruits. Now all this smell, I gotta keep in mind, the smells in this particular beer are faint. It's not a very strong smelling beer. And in a way that's kind of a disappointment considering I'm, like the one that I could draw a comparison, I hate drawing comparisons, but the one I could draw a comparison the most with this is like a Fleetum Blonde. And that one was just simply amazing. This one, that one had some nice aromas. This one, very tame. But smell is not everything, and definitely the appearance is nice. I mean, look right there, it's got some nice lacing around the edges. Hopefully that's a good sign. So, without further ado, cheers. It's very sweet. Almost like a fruity sweetness. Almost borderline sugary, but it's not like it's a very strong sweetness. And you get this taste of, it's very smooth on the tongue. And you can get that sweet malt poking at the back of your tongue, along with some lingering herbal bitterness. But you also get that, the spices of coriander kind of stick to the roof of your mouth in the very back. It's also very smooth. I wouldn't call this full-bodied, but it's definitely in the ballpark of like a medium-bodied beer. Like it's too thick to call like medium light, yet it's too thin to call a medium to heavy. It's right there in the middle on my scale. It's nice though. Nice amount of sweet bitterness. Nothing fruity taste. A little bit of orange citrus. Perhaps a hint of lemon. That said, it's not an incredibly noticeably complex beer like you would typically find out of a Belgian ale. The one thing I will give it though is it finishes nice and dry. Perhaps not as dry as some other Belgian ales, but it does come across as being like some Belgian ales are so dry they just sort of feel like they disappear. This one, the wetness lingers for just a tiny bit and then it's gone. It just sort of fades away. It's nothing like it explodes in a puff of flavor and then it's gone. It's just nice, smooth, easy drinking, refreshing beer. That's good though. I'm going to sit down with this one for a bit and I'll come back with some thoughts. Be right back. And we're back with Leffe Blonde. So what did I think of this particular brew? It's nice. I want to give my judgment on this beer by coming at it from two perspectives. The first thing I like to say is that Belgium, they make some of the best beers out in the world, I find. Their beers are typically complex, easily drinkable, very good tasting. Just absolutely delicious beers that a lot of heart and thought go into. As far as Belgians go, Belgian beers, keep in mind I'm saying Belgian style beers, this is like the Budweiser of Belgians. It's not the greatest Belgian beer out there and it's kind of close to the bottom of the pack. If I were to rate this solidly based on being a Belgian beer by itself, it's kind of like a 2.5 or 3 or something. It's a pass. It's just it's not the greatest of Belgians, but I'm not going to rate it that way because of the fact I really like Belgian ales, and because of the fact that it is a Belgian ale and it's actually a really nice tasty brew. I'm going to give this a 3.5 out of 5. It's worth it. It's not the greatest Belgian ale, but it definitely looks nice, it tastes nice, and I do recommend it. And it's just that if you've got better options available to you, there's certainly some better Belgian beers out there. I mean, most of the Belgian beers I've reviewed, like authentic or even good copies of Belgian beers that I've reviewed on this channel, have gotten like stellar ratings of like 4, 4.5 and a 5. I'm handing Leffe Blonde one of the worst Belgian reviews that I've handled, but I'm still saying it's a 3.5 out of 5, and that's still a good beer in my opinion. So that's kind of how I want to come at this particular one, just because I really liked the way that Leffe tastes. It's a nice, satisfying beer. It's just not the greatest Belgian out there. There are better options. Like Affligem is a good Belgian beer if you can find it. There's also good ones, like say if you live in Canada, if you want to give some other beers, like Belgian style beers from Unibrew are extremely good. There's also a lot of good Trappist ales out there as well that I would try before I would try Leffe. But Leffe is definitely a good brew and solidly recommended. So, 3.5 out of 5 for me. Thank you for watching Maxwell Starr's beer review. I hope you enjoyed watching this review, because I certainly enjoyed drinking this bottle of Leffe. So I'll talk to you later. Cheers.